I trusted my husband with my whole heart. I never checked his phone, never questioned his late nights, never doubted his loyalty. But one day, I discovered something that shattered my belief in love. Not because he cheated, not because he lied, but because he tested me, using his own friend. And what hurts the most is that I was completely loyal the entire time, yet somehow, I was the one being judged. This is my story. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's story is about trust, insecurity, and manipulation in marriage. If you're in a relationship, engaged, or married, this story may make you uncomfortable, but it's important. Everything you're about to hear is real. No exaggeration, no fake drama, just emotional truth. Let me take you back to how it all started. My husband and I were married for 5 years. At first, our marriage felt safe, predictable in a good way. We laughed together, we planned a future, we talked about children. But around year 4, something changed. He became quiet, not distant, observant. He watched how I talked, how I dressed, who I texted. I thought it was stress. I didn't realize it was suspicion. He began asking questions that felt odd. Do you think temptation is unavoidable? Can people be loyal forever? If someone flirted with you, what would you do? I answered honestly. I'd shut it down. He nodded, but I could see doubt in his eyes. That doubt was the beginning of the test. My husband had a close friend, let's call him Daniel. They grew up together, went to college together, trusted each other deeply. Daniel was friendly, respectful, always polite, at least at first. One day, he messaged me, harmless, casual, or so I thought. Daniel's messages became frequent. Compliments turned personal. Friendly became emotional. You deserve more attention. Any man would be lucky to have you. I felt uncomfortable. I told my husband. He said, he's just being nice. That's when I stopped questioning and started trusting the wrong person. Then it crossed the line. Daniel admitted feelings. He asked to meet privately. I refused. I blocked him. What I didn't know was that every word was planned. My husband was watching, waiting, scoring my loyalty like a test. One night, my husband sat me down. He said, I know everything. Then he smiled. You passed. I felt sick. He told me he asked Daniel to tempt me, to see if I would cheat, to see if I was trustworthy. In that moment, I realized I had married someone who didn't believe in me. I didn't feel proud. I felt humiliated. Love isn't a test. Marriage isn't a trap. If you need to manipulate someone to trust them, you never trusted them at all. I cried that night, not because I failed, but because I passed something I never agreed to take. We're still together, but things are different. Trust doesn't return easily, and tests leave scars. So I ask you, would you forgive this? Or would this be the end? If this story made you think, like, subscribe, and share. And remember, loyalty doesn't need to be tested. It needs to be trusted. I passed his test. That's what he said. But ever since that night, I've been asking myself one question over and over again. If I was loyal the entire time, why do I feel like the guilty one? Part 1 ended with his confession. Part 2 is about what happened after the truth came out, when apologies weren't enough, and love no longer felt safe. The days after the confession, the house felt unfamiliar. Same walls, same bed, same man, but nothing felt the same. He tried to act normal, asking what I wanted for dinner, talking about work, laughing at jokes on TV. I barely responded, because every time I looked at him, I didn't see my husband. I saw someone who watched me silently, someone who analyzed my behavior, someone who turned my loyalty into an experiment. At night, I stared at the ceiling. I replayed every moment with his friend, every message, every compliment, every uncomfortable feeling I ignored. And the worst realization? If I hadn't been strong enough, this test would have destroyed my life. When I finally spoke up, 3 days later, I finally broke the silence. I asked him one question. Did you ever feel guilty? He hesitated. That pause told me everything. He said he was afraid. Afraid of losing me, afraid of being made a fool. Then he said something that cut deep. I needed proof. Proof. As if 5 years of loyalty wasn't enough. As if marriage vows weren't enough. as if love needs evidence like a crime investigation. I told him something I had been holding inside. You didn't protect our marriage. You tested it. He didn't respond. The friend again. A week later, something happened that made everything worse. His friend, the one who tempted me, messaged again. This time, it wasn't flirting. It was guilt. He said he felt disgusting, that he hated himself for going along with the plan, that he never expected it to hurt me this deeply. I stared at the screen for a long time. Two men I trusted, played with my emotions, and then apologized after the damage was done. I didn't reply. Some apologies come too late. The anger I wasn't allowed to feel. Everyone expected me to be relieved. You passed. He chose you. He learned his lesson. But no one talked about my anger. I wasn't allowed to be angry, because technically, nothing physical happened. But emotional betrayal counts. Manipulation counts. Being watched without consent counts. I realized something painful. Society praises loyalty, but ignores the cost of proving it. Counseling, the question that changed everything. Eventually, we went to therapy. The therapist listened quietly. Then she asked my husband, "Why did you assume your wife would fail?" He opened his mouth, then stopped. Silence. Then he admitted something he'd never said before. He was cheated on in the past. He never healed from it. And instead of dealing with his trauma, he projected it onto me. That's when I understood. This test wasn't about my loyalty. It was about his fear, my breaking point. But understanding didn't erase the damage. One night, I told him the truth. I don't feel safe being loved like this. That sentence scared him more than anything. Because love without safety is just anxiety with attachment. I told him, I don't want to prove myself anymore. I want to be trusted. Or I want to be free. Setting boundaries. For the first time in our marriage, I set boundaries that weren't negotiable. No tests. No spies. No friends involved in our relationship. No monitoring disguised as concern. And I told him something final. If you ever doubt me again, don't test me. Ask me or let me go. He cried. But tears don't rebuild trust. Actions do. Where we stand now, we are still together, but our marriage is different. More honest. More fragile. More real. Some days are good. Some days feel heavy. Trust isn't fully healed. But at least now, it's no longer being tested. Final message to the audience. If someone ever feels the need to test your loyalty, ask yourself why. Love isn't a trap. Marriage isn't an experiment. And loyalty should never require suffering, just to be believed. Call to action. So tell me, was my husband insecure? Or controlling? Would you stay? Or would this be your breaking point? Comment below, like, subscribe, and share this story. Because sometimes, passing the test is how you discover the relationship was failing.